You're gonna want to hear this. The following is guaranteed to knock your ears right off. Not intended for the faint of heart.
And we're back. Hello, Matt.
Hello, Liam.
How's it going?
It's going swell. How about you?
Hunky dory.
It's all right in the
Can you let her in? Thank you. Bree's gonna be here very shortly, within the next
Within
minute.
20 seconds.
She just got late, but we have Jack back again.
Hello, it's good to be back.
Back to back. Nice.
Wow, Jack Attack, huh?
Jack
I guess I was good on the last one.
He's like, oh, I can't wait to be
He's such a cutie pie.
Because he heard about what we're talking about,
Mhm.
and we're talking about.
We are talking about philosophy. I brought some flavorful philosophy questions to answer.
Some for like the palate.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know,
For the brain
I,
palate.
I had to be a little calm though
Moosh boosh.
when I chose the questions so that everyone here can understand.
Jack's girl's here too in the room.
Yes, she is. Happy birthday, Vanessa.
Oh, happy birthday,
Happy
Vanessa.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, we don't got to do all that.
Okay.
All right.
All right, settle down.
How old are you now? 23? Damn.
Damn, she a cougar, bro.
You can put your headset on.
Okay.
What?
I didn't know if we started or not.
We did. Everything's.
We're just talking.
I
like, for
thought
no
you were just
reason.
talking.
No. We all started. We were just
Okay.
you just jumped in.
I know, I'm sorry.
It's
the bunny
okay.
wouldn't go back in the cage.
Oh.
She was
Did you
arguing
hear what I
with
said?
me.
What we're talking about, Brie?
I assume it's philosophy?
Yes.
Yep.
Philosophy questions.
Bree knew
I'm going to
it.
start off before we go on break. I'm just going to ask a quick one. Do you guys believe in karma?
Oh, yeah.
You believe in karma?
Oh, yeah. Like, do I believe in the, like... Okay, Jack's already, like, primed. He's like...
it didn't make sense.
I won't give my... How about this? We won't give answers, but we'll just leave it like that and go on break.
Yeah, sure. So you said yes.
Okay. All right, you want to just give your answer, then we'll go on break, and then we'll just go into it more?
Sure. I think so, yeah.
No.
I think things tend to react in the way that, like, if you do a good things will happen, and bad things will kind of follow. But I don't think there's some, like, universal force out there that we call karma.
All right, well, we'll go into
yes
it
or
more.
no, buddy.
I'm long-winded, sorry. Lots of nuance.
Who brought this guy? We'll be right back. Matt, you're an
I don't
idiot.
think Matt has ever seen an Applebee's menu.
No.
He could get like a martini,
We were there the other day. They were saying like $1 something.
Yeah, $1 like appetite. Like I'm
No. It was a drink.
Margarita?
I hate
maybe?
Applebee's.
Yeah. It was a $1 margarita.
Well,
like
the
I said.
plan was tonight.
Really?
Me, Jack, his girl Bree, and then maybe Quinn will go out tonight and get a drink. Right?
But it'll be closed.
We'll be close.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see what happens.
It'll be
If anything, we'll probably go out somewhere. We'll find. Hey, Matt, shut up.
Bro, it's just
What? No.
bullying me over here.
I'm the co-host. I can do whatever I want.
All right.
He's on a power trip.
Bree is too. What is your point?
Yeah. Please play Guess Who and be quiet.
Oh.
Dude, we played.
Round number 2.
All right.
Best 2 out
So
of 3.
Matt asked us before the break, do we believe in karma?
Mhm.
And I said yes. Bree said yes. Matt said no, and Jack said no.
Jack
Right?
said kinda.
Kinda.
It's in a different form, which I would say that's what I would explain too as well.
Yeah.
you- Should you want me to explain first my point of view?
Sure.
Right? I see karma as not a thing that happens, right? It's just a thing. It's a descriptive label that we put on certain actions that have this other reaction that has a good or bad thing depending on what was previously done, right?
Okay.
So it's like, oh, like I did a good thing, and then you'd be like, and then if something good happened after that, you'd be like, oh, karma's good for you or whatever. But if like a bad thing happened, you'd be like, karma's like, I don't know what's happening with karma. They're not doing anything.
That's a good point. It's just how we perceive the reactions to the things that we do.
So I'll say this, like, I say yes, but also like the karma I'm talking about is like, it's not like a magical fairy comes down and says, bad luck kind of thing. like I'm saying, like if you do something wrong to someone and then something happens to you, yeah, it's called karma. But does it is it mean
Does it
like,
really exist?
does it really exist? No, it doesn't obviously exist. I'm saying like, do you get what coming to you? Yeah, that exists. Does it happen all the time? No, but karma's fun. If it does, it means a funny thing. If it does happen to someone that does something wrong to you, I'm sure Bree agrees.
Yeah, I think it's like if you're a good person, good things will happen to you. If you're a bad person, bad things will happen to you. I don't think it's necessarily karma. I don't think karma's like this person and it
Yeah.
does things to you. I just think like if you put good stuff out, you'll get good stuff back.
Yeah, the karma
Yeah.
fairy.
Yeah, the karma fairy.
Yeah, I'd
Like
say
the
if you're-
tooth fairy, except worse.
And it's more of like a likelihood thing. I don't think it's like a law,
Yeah.
right? Because like you could say most of the time, if you do good things will happen.
Yeah.
But there's always exceptions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like me. Like I do good things all the time, and only bad things happen to me. What's happening here?
Well, I think you deserve it.
You broke
Lady
karma.
Lady Karma, hear me out. Hopefully you're listening to this.
Listen to Logic around. No,
I need some help.
Please.
I think that bad things will happen to bad people, and also bad things will happen to good people. I just think it's coincidence more than anything.
Yeah.
Do I call a coincidence karma sometimes? Sure, but it goes hand in hand a lot of the time. Like, is it a coincidence that this guy that did something wrong to me, something bad happened to him? It's a coincidence, sure. Is it karma? Sure, it's both, really. It goes hand in hand with a lot.
He had it coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we mostly all agree that it's like a descriptive term, not like a real thing that is
No,
a
it's
law.
not
Like
like
a normative term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See those words.
Did you say
You big nerd.
normative? What did you say?
Normative.
Normative?
Yeah. Which like descriptive is like how things are versus normative is like how things should be or whatever.
Oh.
All right.
All right, should we get
Bunny
into
thinks he's got an English degree.
Whoa! I didn't know you were an English major, science
what does
guy.
normative mean, huh? Normal? Yeah, anyone could come up with that. All
Who
right,
saw that one coming?
we should get into the meat of all this.
Sure.
All right, first things first.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think a society requires art and or music to function?
Does society require art or music to function?
Mm-hmm. It's a teaser. It's a brain one.
Uh,
I
Go ahead.
I'll give like a general. I haven't thought about it too much, but
sure.
I'd say probably yes,
Mm-hmm.
because like through society, right? There's going to be a buildup of emotion. It doesn't even matter what emotion it is. Through like daily hard work or whatever, you're going to have either anger, happiness, whatever, and through emotion, then comes expression, right?
Mhm.
And expression will always end up being art or music, right? So I think it'll always end up that way, through like political ideas or whatever you put out art,
Yeah.
or through like how you're feeling you put out music or whatever.
Mhm.
But it doesn't. It's less like pragmatic for like a society. It's less practical, but it has to be there, for like the conversation of ideas and how it structures. That's my opinion.
I don't think the expression of emotions always has to be in the form of art, but the way I thought about it was there has to be an outlet for artistic people, right? Because people have that proclivity or tendency. So you need to have a place for those people to express that drive.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be. Like people expressing emotions doesn't always come out in the form of art. But I think it's important to have that outlet because there are artistic people, and those people need to have a place in society, or else it'll fall apart.
Bree?
I agree that they need something to do to express themselves, but I don't think society relies on art and music. I think society relies on other things. And I think a society can still survive without art and music. I just think those people will suffer more.
So I'll say, I think I understand exactly what you're saying, Bree. But I also think society can survive without music. I think society can't survive without art, because art is ways we express feeling, ideas, and amongst a lot like history, all that stuff. Like pottery in the Greek time was was a form of art, but also told stories of families and royal families on a piece of pottery that we used to like tell the past. Also, like architecture, like different forms of architecture is like different forms of art. Really, if you think about it, like how different societies use different types of structures they built to influence how they feel and their cultures about. So I feel like art is more of a foundation but builds upon a lot of other things of like structures and ideas, culture, history, everything. When music comes and goes, really. You can either like rock or you like country, and it doesn't really change the course of what we have and what we will be. But I'm sick.
But wasn't music used to like tell stories like based on what happened?
Yeah, but most people are more of a visual learner with that stuff, and you can be told what it is through the art by looking at it, and then also someone telling you what it means. So I feel like art is more of a importance and more reasonable thing.
Art is more practical in that sense.
Yeah, I think it's probably pretty hard to avoid art, right? Like, obviously with architecture, like you build houses, right? If we didn't have art, I don't even know what a house without art would look like, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, even like a plain box, right? A plain white box, that's considered art, right? So I don't know how it would be absent in any society, but if we didn't consider that art and considered like, actually like non-abstract, like actual like paintings and stuff like that to be art, then you can survive it if no one was ever to come up with that in the first place. But I think humans will. This is just like an opinion. I don't know if this is backed up by anything, but I think humans will naturally always go to art, and there's nothing that can really stop that, right? You have to think.
Jack's been thinking hard over there. I've been watching Jack's gears turn in his brain. He's like,
Well, you said like a house is always going to have some form of art, and I'd say that's generally the case. But is there a situation in which a house could be purely functional, where the design is only based on serving a purpose rather than like some aesthetic or
but that's
creative
art too.
ideal? But is it though? It's just practical. It's practicality. It's not art.
But
it's to serve a purpose.
There's art in everything.
Yeah, but that's perception. It's not created in terms of expression. It's created in terms of function and practical use.
Well, so like teleologically, like it's produced
if Cole was here, he would tell you like the dome.
The dome.
Yeah. Oh man, don't get me started
So
on the dome.
beautiful.
That's pure art.
It's a half a
You can't have any domes in your artless society.
It means so much.
Just make it a whole sphere. Make a basement.
No, literally, yeah.
To something being the most efficient, practical thing. I'm going to take this to the extreme, right? The most efficient, practical thing, make it more or less of art than something that's fully designed to be like you're like trying to be an artwork. You're trying to do an artwork and something that's fully logical, pragmatic, totally efficient. Like that's the way it was built. Like, is that less or more of art than the other? I would say probably not. I'd probably say they're equal.
I was gonna say I personally see like them as equals, not really a difference. I feel like art through a structure and art as a painting is like almost the same thing. You really think about it long and hard. Is that what you meant? I don't know if that's what you meant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I mean, everything is like art in its own way. In mine.
I'm kind of convinced of your argument because even if it just serves a practical purpose and it's just functional, it's still expressing something, which is a need, and maybe a very basic need that human, like a roof over your head.
Yeah.
But it's still expression.
Yeah.
So I guess it could still be considered art.
Well, it's because like think about all the different cultures over a lifetime that are gone and also still around. The expression of a lot of their past lives or through their structures that they've left behind.
Cave paintings and stuff.
Cave paintings, Egyptians with their pyramids, like you just in like the Aztec structures, like all these things are just art.
I've heard some
structure.
There's some psychologists that talk about art or culture as a way to deal with the fear of death.
Yeah.
Because art is something that outlasts us, and culture is something that transcends our short, transient existence on this earth. So art is something that can go beyond our physical boundaries of time and outlast us. But that idea has also been kind of refuted. But these psychologists also tend to think that everything we do, including religion and all this stuff, is all to deal with the fear of death.
Yeah.
Ernst Becker wrote a book, Denial of Death, in case
Yeah.
anyone wants to.
Well, if you don't have any fear of death, you probably have fear of death. Is that like what happens then?
You have to ask him. I don't know.
If you wrote the book.
I didn't write it. Ernst Becker did it.
Yeah, so I think, but I want to also touch on the music part, right?
Yeah.
Because I think that's a totally different part of it.
Yeah.
Right? I think you could probably go your whole life without hearing music.
Yeah.
You can't go your whole life without seeing art. You like wake up, you see art.
Yeah. People find like art in different structures, even like natural structures, like the Grand Canyon. People think that's art.
True pattern recognition is really what it
Yeah.
is.
Mhm.
So if I like hit the table a few times in a row, anyone could, anything could be music if you perceive it as a pattern. That's just how our brains are.
Yeah. But like, yeah, I feel like, some people probably like, even if they never heard music, maybe they'll have a sense of rhythm. If you haven't heard music, do you think you would have rhythm?
I think you would. It's
You
pattern
think-
recognition. It's built into our brains.
You think this would be like my music, right? It'd be like a beat.
Well, you could entrain to it because actually, when you listen to music, your physiology, your breathing, your heart rate entrains to the music. You could have people and stories too. You could have people on two different sides of the planet read the same story, and their heart rate and breathing synchronizes.
Yeah.
There's research on this. It's really, really interesting.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh, he just brought up a study. What am I gonna do? You stink.
He's like, damn.
All right. Do we want to move on to the next one?
That's yeah.
All right. Hold on. Final answers. I'd say
What even was the initial
it
question?
was: can society function without
Okay, yeah.
Art or music.
and or music? And I think no.
I think it's built in.
Yeah, I think it's part of.
Yeah, I think so too.
What do you think?
I guess.
You guess. It's a yes or no.
I mean, I don't know. I understand what you're saying, and I didn't see art like that. I saw art more like paintings
More like the
and
painting
stuff.
stuff?
Yeah, which I think could be survived without. But like the structures and everything, I agree. I think there's art built into everything.
And it's all expressive. Maybe not of some abstract emotion, but of a need.
Yeah. Wait, Liam?
I just think that you can't like sit there and say that you can live without art. No, you can't really, because it's through everything really. Structures, paintings, literally everything you look at is a form of art one way or another.
Yeah.
And music, you can just go without your life. You can hum or whatever like that if you want to get music, but you don't really,
You won't know what it is.
you won't know what it is.
Like why
Yeah,
are you making that noise?
Yeah, what's going on?
I'd be like,
Somebody help him.
There's a baby crying. That's
The Lord's possessing me.
What are you doing?
you want to ask one more and we want to break?
All right. That one might be. All right. Hold on. Sorry, I'm making sure it's not like.
20 years later.
All right, whatever. What is the role of reason and emotion in moral dilemmas, and can they have harmony?
What?
Wait, repeat that one again.
All right. What is the role of reason and emotion in moral dilemmas, and can they have harmony
So, what's the difference between reason and emotion when it
when
comes
considering
to?
moral dilemmas?
Yeah. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there some parts where you have to follow one and not the other? Is there some parts where you have to follow?
I feel like this is something we
emotion?
talked about the other day.
We did
Yeah. I
the
feel-
emotion thing.
No. I feel like I think it was today I brought up a situation with like people.
Maybe I wasn't there.
No. I was talking to you about it.
Oh.
It was a problem.
Maybe I
had.
really wasn't
It
there.
was a problem I had. It was a problem I had with people. I can't say.
Yeah.
You know. What
I
I'm
know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I feel like it's something that involves what we talked about.
Maybe.
A good analogy I've heard about a question like this is the elephant and the rider.
Yeah.
Where the elephant is kind of the emotional, instinctual response we have to things, and then the rider is our kind of cortical, rational, logical response to that, or attempt to direct that.
Yeah.
I think in situations the emotion is always going to crop up first, and the logic and the reason is a way to process or interpret that emotion and make calculations about whether or not that emotion should be,
Like good
For-
or bad or
Yeah, exactly.
justified or whatever.
or actionable or not.
I feel like when it comes to certain situations, I feel like logic and emotion, right? As we said, what was it? Yeah, I feel like logic should trump more than emotion with a lot of situations.
True, but it doesn't.
Yeah, I feel like to an extent though. I feel like you can, if with the right person, you can tame their emotions the right way.
I don't think so.
I feel like in situations you're like, oh, my emotions got the best of me. You're never like, my logic got the best of me. Like,
That's true.
you react first with your emotions.
And if you're purely logical, people look at you like you're a monster.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, I'm going to give you an example, right? Would you use logic more or emotion more if somebody was like, oh, you press this button, you save your dad and your mom dies, or press the other button and your mom's gets saved and your dad dies, and say like, yeah, whatever. I'm not going to employ anything else, but would you use more logic there? Like, oh, my dad's done more good things for me, and then, or would you use emotion, whatever you feel?
I feel like this is a lose-lose for me because they both listen to my podcast. So I feel like this is just a lose-lose.
It probably would be an emotional decision, but the logical, because you're not going to have someone make like a utilitarian argument. It's like, well, my dad's job is more important than my mom's.
I'll press the third button and myself. There you go. That's my pick. 'Cause I can't.
You can't answer it.
I. It's not even like can't answer. I just can't pick between the two of
Yeah,
them.
you don't have to pick, but what would you use more, logic or emotion, in like that kind of decision?
You have to use emotion. What logic is behind that?
I mean, sure, you can use. You could use emotion, but I feel like I would use more logic, and that's all I'll say about that. Emotion, because I feel like my emotions would be like, no button press. But if I had only 2 buttons and I couldn't leave the room,
Yeah.
You hit them both at the same time.
and then they both
What,
die.
just
Or
but-
both live.
Yeah, but when you're like doing that, right? When you're doing this 2 buttons and no button, then that's when you really know your choice, right? Is when you're regretting it,
Yeah,
right?
I feel like
So
if
kill
there
your
was a
mom, see if
third-
you regret it, and then if you do, just kill your dad.
just go back in time and decide.
I feel like I would just press a third button and just kill myself. I couldn't do that.
Don't just jump out the window.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
No, I'd probably right. The logic part of it is, you could keep the most amount of happiness, least amount of pain, whatever. I would have to go with my gut. I literally can't compare the two. So I would be like, whatever I feel, and whatever is probably culturally accepted, I'd probably choose.
My problem is I instantly go to the logical thing of this. Like I can't just give examples, but like I go like this isn't that, but anything like that for certain aspects. Like I don't know.
Bruce said the most ambiguous sentence of all time.
Yeah, I take this and that from places, and I put them together.
Because if I did it from a logical standpoint, I know my answer.
Uh-huh.
But I will not give my answer.
Yeah, of
but I know my answer if I did it from a logical standpoint.
Sorry, Mom.
You get text night.
No, that's not even true. I didn't say anything.
Just kidding, Mrs. Saranich.
I didn't say anything, Ma or Dad. I didn't say anything about it. But I know my answer. Thing like that. What's so funny over there?
Yeah, I that's one of the things I probably can't ever think too logically about, because it would make my moral conscience like feel really bad, because I'm trying to do this insanely hard decision and balancing everything.
Either way, you'd be ridden with guilt.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
feel like with me, I have a tendency to more like if this is like a super hard decision in my life, and like I have to like put emotion in it, I just kind of like much as I can turn off emotion and just go with like the logical point, and then I'll feel the regret later kind of thing. But that's kind of what I do. It's not healthy.
Wouldn't recommend.
Wouldn't recommend to anyone. But yeah, so
Yeah, so like I would say most situations that aren't this extreme,
yeah,
right? I'd say the very mundane situations can all be logicked out.
yeah,
Extreme situations, I think, is where emotion starts coming into play, where it's like impossible to actually logic it out.
yeah. That was good.
You got some good questions.
All right, we'll be right back though after a quick break.
Okay, you're.
And we're back. No, keep doing your game.
Or resume.
Guess-
Yeah. I'll
They're
remember.
playing Guess Who.
with the whatever
What is it?
whatever this is.
What is it?
Wyndham Democrats.
Yeah, we're playing Guess Who over here. I'll ask a few more questions. We'll probably wrap it up after like a few more questions. So
All right. This one. Do you think egalitarianism is ever possible? And egalitarianism's definition is relating to or believing in the principle that all people are equal and deserve equal rights and opportunities.
see, now this is what we were talking about.
Do you think it's
earlier.
ever
That's a dumb
possible?
See, this is
You think it's
no, Matt.
it's ever possible?
No, I don't.
Matt,
What?
this is exactly what we were talking about earlier.
Really?
Almost. Yeah,
I forget everything.
No, it's a
guess.
good question.
it's not a bad question.
No, it is a good question.
Because I'll say this. There's no way.
Yeah, no.
And we can live in a world where we think it's going to be the case, but there's people in countries that are mining stuff for big corporations that have zero rights. And you're going to sit here and say that, well, eventually one day everyone's going to. There's no way.
No, do you think it is possible? Even in like a
No.
complete hypothetical.
Theoretically, yeah.
No.
Do you think it's theoretically
There
possible?
always will be one person that's going to put another person down. There will never be a.
There's always going to be someone who wants that power.
Yeah, there's never going to be someone that's going to have one that equal.
What about like a
across the board.
socialist? Just completely socialist. No capitalistic like drive to
But this is never going to happen.
But
There's
even
always someone with power.
No, there's
Someone
not.
has to control who gets what in that situation.
even aside from like striving for power, I think some people
Yeah.
differ greatly, right?
Mhm.
In their traits and characteristics. Some people are going to be given more resources
Mm-hmm.
because they will be able to transmute that into the greater good more so than other people. I think
Mhm.
so. And so in that case, I think there will always be unequal distribution of resources
Yeah.
for that reason. Because if there wasn't, the society wouldn't function as efficiently as it could.
Yeah.
I think it could be possible.
How so?
You'd have to like.
I'd say
Mhm.
this is a complete hypothetical.
Mhm.
Wipe the planet. Okay, start cloning one person. Destroy the one person that was cloned, and now you have a full society of all equal clones
True.
Sure, that is a possibility, but there's also like
with socialism.
there's also been like multiple shows about that, and there's always one person that's still.
All right,
even the
well, they're a
clone.
show, not my hypothetical.
Yeah.
They're all clones, maybe, but I'm just basing my opinion on the fact that people are different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
there's never gonna be a point in our lives, at least in my life before I die, where there's gonna be an equal across the board, across every country, everywhere across the world. It's never gonna happen. We're in a world where slavery is still a thing to this day, and people are like, "It's been abolished." No, it's not.
There
It's,
are more slaves now than ever in recorded history.
exactly, and you're gonna sit here and say that we're going more backwards as we're going forwards in time, and people are so ignorant to that they don't realize it. And I feel like people will sit here and say, well, this person's bad, then do something about it. If you're gonna sit here and say this person's bad, don't sit and complain about it all day and say that this is what I'm talking about.
Oh no,
And say that
it's all coming out.
and say that this person's bad, blah blah blah. Then don't buy their products if you don't want that. Because in the end of the day, these are children are making half the stuff we own, like phones, clothes, and it's awful. I don't like it. I think it's a terrible thing, but it's happening, and people are still buying the stuff. So if you want to live in a world where you want to live in that perfect world, stop buying clothes. Start making your own clothes, start making your own phones, start making everything, because it sucks, and that's reality. That all the stuff we own and wear is made by people that are suppressed, and that's just kind of how it is right now, which is not how it should be, but that's just how it is. And I feel like people need to either realize that and do something about it, because I can't do anything about it. I'm a student in college. There's nothing I can do about it. And there's nothing you can do by just sitting at home complaining about it. Like, do something about it. If it's really something you hate, then do something about it.
But even like I think in some ways we do need unequal distribution of resources because think about if you completely equally distributed all of the resources and wealth in the world.
Yeah.
I think things would fall apart.
Oh yeah, no, it'd be a disaster.
So like in some, you
As
can,
long as I can play League, I think I think we're actually
as long
good.
as he still has his PC.
The world should not be raptured by the time I'm done with League.
Bree.
I was gonna say people value different things. So someone is good at woodworking, they should get more wood so everyone can have the tools they're making. Some people are good at sewing, so they should get more of the sewing than the people who are good at the woodworking, because what are they gonna do with it?
Good
I
point.
think it's just how the world works.
It's like me putting 3 logs in front of people and saying, these are the only 3 logs we got. I want you all to make a statue. And 2 of them have no idea what they're doing. One person does. And I could have just given all 3 to the one person and made 3 great statues, but I'm hanging up 2 awful ones and then 1 great one.
Yeah.
It just makes no sense.
You have some good analogies here. You guys are good. You guys are sharp.
I was probably thinking more on the physiological aspect of it, that, you know, at least between at least between like men and women, right? Like testosterone will increase the aggressiveness of men, right? So they're probably going to be more aggressive for certain opportunities. Not saying anything, nothing's implied.
What are you saying?
What do you mean by this?
Where are you going with
But
this?
they're probably going to be more aggressive for those things than, you know, than say women based on this physiological aspect, you know.
True.
But stuff like that, right? I was thinking then, right? What if we pumped like women full of 18 times testosterone or whatever? You know, what would happen then from birth if we equaled out everyone's chemicals, right? From birth, you analyze chemicals, you keep putting everyone's has equal amounts of everything. Do you think that's possible, Jack?
No.
No.
The only way it would be possible is if they're complete clones, because you could still you can make sure all their hormones and neurotransmitters are the exact same, but people's brain structure is different. I mean, people literally
there's-
have different.
There's no
anatomies.
way, because even people have different experiences in their life. If I gave everyone the same face, same body, same everything, experience is going to be so different. Because either way, you're not going to give everyone the same clothes, same attitude, same everything. Like, you're
Well, if they're
gonna,
clones, they probably.
If they're clones, this maybe. But
Maybe.
that's
Yeah.
just not
but
feasible.
I'm just saying.
I'm in the works.
I'm
Just
working
wait.
on it.
Like when I'm graduating Easter, there's like 10 clones of me. Like, yeah.
but are you gonna say that like you're gonna say like your clones are all gonna have the same exact opinion all the time, every second, every day?
Yeah.
No, they're gonna eventually one clone's gonna be like, I understand what I am, but what happens if I went off the other end and decide to think differently? You know what I mean? You know what I'm
Clones
saying?
can't
Oh, you're right.
experience every single thing you've experienced at the same time.
Yeah.
Like if you're on a soccer team, one clone is going to score a goal. They're going to have a different experience.
Because you're gonna, let's say like you have clones around the world, different clones in Europe, Asia, Africa, South America, North America, or have different experiences around the world.
It's like the twin studies.
Yeah.
Have you seen those?
Yes, I have.
Where you have like people that are 100% identical genetically,
Yeah.
but they grow up in different places, have
yeah.
different experiences.
Yeah, have
Like
you
the
seen?
Parent
Have you,
Trap.
Epigenetics.
have you seen the study though, where it's like they lived almost the exact same life, had the same dog named?
I think it's a case study.
There's all bunch of stuff, and like,
Oh yeah, like the same dog name,
same
like Dave
career,
or whatever, and then
same career,
same wife name. I think
same
too.
wife name. Yeah,
True.
And
That's
then-
weird stuff. But they also do differ.
Yeah.
These studies are very.
Yeah.
So,
But
All right.
so for that
So the answer is no.
I just there's just no feasible way, like chemically, economically, politically. It's just never gonna happen.
Yeah,
It's
no,
just
I think
never
so,
gonna happen. Which sucks, but that's just the way the world
True.
rolls. So
All
Next
right.
question.
This one might be you could just tell me if you want to even try to answer this or not.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What is the nature of an animal's consciousness to a human in relation to ethical treatment?
You're going to have to elaborate in the last part.
yeah, what?
Why do we consider them to be lower life forms? And I think most
So
humans.
why do humans think they're superior to
To
other
animals.
other animals?
Uh-huh.
So I just dumbed
Incom-
it down for you guys. You're welcome.
Thanks.
You know, why is it that we treat like certain animals, obviously we put cows in, farms, right?
Yeah.
And we would never
And we eat them.
we would never put humans in a farm, right?
And they still feel pain and all that, all the things we feel.
Right? So you kind of have to compare the two and contrast what makes somebody human and what would make them an animal.
I think like the freedom of thought is like the biggest one.
Yeah, like we have a conscience.
Yeah, we have the ability. I'm not saying that they can't feel pain or anything like that, but I feel like we have the ability to express like love and creativity and
Well, animals could express love, right?
yeah, and create. Yeah, no, I'm not saying they can't. I'm just saying we can express love and creativity in ways that they will never like really hit a lot of them, because cows they express love by like love making, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Us humans, we can do it by buying your flowers, getting your chocolates, and like bringing her to these fancy places that are like super nice and not a lot of people can see. I just feel like there's a different level of thought and process that goes behind how we think compared to how animals think. And I'm not saying all animals are stupid. I'm saying that some of them just can't get to the level of thought we have.
I think that's probably true. I think humans probably can have a deeper experience of consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
but I think the pain can still be just as real and deep.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
think if I were a perfectly ethical person,
Mm-hmm.
I would be a vegan,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. But I
But
still eat
I-
burgers.
I also evolved to eat meat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's wrong to kill to
yeah.
take another living being's life when they're feeling pain. But it's also how my ancestors evolved being unethical towards animals,
Yeah,
and then I would feel miserable unless that's a dog eat dog world.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kind of how I feel about
Yeah,
it.
so like, why wouldn't you? So like, say, is this like a more cultural thing or more based on your morals, right? Where a dog is very highly valued, right? Very highly valued within, like, it's like never eat a dog, never do anything to the dog, right?
Well,
And then-
can I go back
Sure,
one
sure.
second? Because I was thinking about what he just said, like, about... Well, think about this, too, like, deers, right? Deers, like, if you don't kill a bunch of deers during hunting season, they, like, breed, like, rabbits almost. So imagine, like, we just live in a world of, like, no killing animals, and deers just ran rampant in the woods.
It wouldn't
Yeah,
be
but
good.
you wouldn't.
We would lose so many,
Yeah.
like, plants and...
a lot of other animals
A
that
lot of
rely on those
animals
plants.
rely on plants.
and
and
predators that rely on those animals to
Yeah,
eat.
so
It's
then
just deer.
These deer. There's an area a few years ago in Connecticut where they weren't allowed to hunt deers for a while. But the thing is, deers got overpopulated that other animals started dying and the grass stopped growing almost in
Yep.
those areas. So then they had to send a bunch of hunters in there and just wipe out a bunch of them.
Have you heard about what they did with the wolves in Yellowstone?
Yeah,
They had that problem where they outlawed the hunting. They literally flew in wolves
Yeah.
and dropped wolves off
Yeah.
to take out these deer so that you could have the ecosystem blossom.
Oh
again.
yeah, but it's I think to have to kill we have to kill animals not as a source of food but as a source of balance in nature, because if I feel like if you just let all the animals just live without consequence in some sense, not like in a like weird sense, but in a sense of like let them do what they want, our world just kind of get ruined almost.
There's a reason we're the top of the food chain.
Yeah.
Would you not say that this is a weird utility-based argument where this deer is going to overpopulate and make this life dangerous for this person, and then this?
Yeah.
It's a never-ending reach, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you're saying that this justifies now like killing them, right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we say the same for humans then? If we're treating them as equal, except for this part.
Because we can make laws and different
Yeah, but they're like,
attributes that help prevent us from doing certain things. Like in Connecticut, the governor sometimes says we have a national like a thing with the reservoir, like the water reservoirs, especially in California, where it's like you have to do this and this and that to help preserve the water. Because if we keep
can't.
I can't remember the word. What is it?
I know what you're talking about. It's like when they can't water their lawn on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, so because it helps save like water, but like there's simple things we can do like that to help bring back ecosystem, help control certain things that where we can actually fix things and not just let things run rampant. Like animals, if they had the control to do what they want, they wouldn't fix things and just keep doing what they're doing. But we're going out our way to fix things by making dams, water reservations or reserves, and all these things to help bring back ecosystems in a lot of places. Like, we have the thought to do good by the world when animals don't have a thought but just survive. That's what
Yeah.
my whole thing is, right?
I think that was a really good question you had, Kiskin, about like if some people are, and I could probably turn it to current events with the Hamas situation,
Yeah.
right? Israel Palestine, not to bring up a sore subject, but
No, that's fine.
do you think it's justifiable? If you're, I know that civilians are targeted, you know, or killed and stuff too. But like,
Yeah.
let's just say there's a Hamas stronghold, and we
Yeah.
know what the horrible atrocities they committed. Would it be justifiable to kill them?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
because
What do you
they're
think?
hurting our ecosystem.
Right. What do you think, Kiskin?
I think if you look at it from utility, I'd say it's probably.
Justifiable.
If I'm looking at it,
I'm just saying it makes a bad precedence because that means like might makes right, right? Because then you're just gonna kill everyone that doesn't have like your same opinion, right?
But if they're
but they're hurting other
Yeah, but
people.
committing atrocities,
I know, but that's in relation to what we consider atrocities, right? They think they're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
well, do you believe in objective morality, or is it all relative?
I don't. I think everything's relative, but
Really?
yeah. I thought we talked about that before.
Really? This has to be a topic for next week because we could talk about this for a long time.
No, I've
You're-
had long conversations with Matt off podcast, and he's actually like a.
So
he's
you don't.
not
Let me ask you
joking.
this: you don't think that like murder and rape are objectively wrong?
Not objectively. They're subjectively. Because, I mean, right, where I get this from is where you get Socratic, you know, like the Socratic method.
Jack's where like part
Where you're
two,
like, why?
please.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
Whenever you're going to, like, this part where you're trying to define where this objective part comes from, you need a subjective agent in order to have morals to even exist.
But what if it's built into the human brain?
Then it's subjectively objective, if you know what I mean.
But it's
Like,
still objective, right?
No, but it's not. It's not true. It's not true in essence, without humans.
Yeah, true. I agree with that.
Right?
Like in the grand sense, nothing matters.
Yeah.
But in the human lens,
Yeah, I'd say
there is
it-
objective morality.
If
If it's built into our brains,
Yeah, if you want to call it
like incest,
objective.
for example,
Yeah, well,
that's objectively because it's built into our brains. Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, in the universal, like it's not wrong, or it's not
Well,
wrong
yeah.
or right. There is no
Well,
wrong
then-
or right in the grand scheme of things in the universe. But the way our brains evolved, it is objectively wrong.
But
So why don't we save this for part 2?
yeah, sure.
Yep.
I was about to have
topic,
I was about to have a counter and a two.
He's about to finish me off.
I was about to hit him with a fatality.
Rip my spine out.
So let's save this.
Ah!
We'll save this for part 2 so that we're more. I feel like we'll save it for part 2
Yeah,
so we're more
sure.
equipped to handle that kind of questions.
Sure.
Yeah.
I feel like we're more equipped tonight to handle different questions. If
Yeah,
that makes
yeah.
sense.
Yep.
Because I like it.
That's good. That's a good talk.
No, we'll talk about it next week.
Bro's
Next
about to
month.
rip my heart out and eat it.
Dude, I've been through this road. I've been through this rodeo quite a few times.
It's about to end
so
you.
let's go back to what we were talking about, like the animal thing. The last thing we were talking about was like the people stuff, and then you brought up the
you brought
the
up
Hamas
Yeah, sorry
thing.
about that.
No, it's fine. What I was gonna say about that was I think for the betterment of people, I think we would like get rid of them, kind of thing like that, because my mindset is for betterment of balance in the world. I'm not really much like one way or the other. I'm more like has to be like balance in nature's sense. So if people are just harming people consistently for whatever reason, if we just cut out that parasite, then the whole thing will live, you know? So, because we let things like run rampant throughout the ecosystem, like through people, through animals, culture, anything like that, then we're just kind of letting a thing grow that we could just cut out, gone, and like kind of like suppress down so that if it comes up again, we'll handle it again, so that until then, like it's balanced around. That's just my thought. So,
Go ahead.
I'd say, can I just like if this isn't
Yeah.
what you're trying to say, like just let me know. But I think you're trying to say that animals can't have a social contract with people where they say, you don't hurt me, I don't hurt you.
Yeah.
Right? They're just more instinctual based, and that's what makes them less valuable.
Yeah. I was talking about humans in that sense with the Hamas thing. But the animals, like, that's the same thing too. It's like animals don't realize what an ecosystem is. You really think about it. Like, they don't really care. They're just doing what they're doing to live and breathe the next day. So they don't really care if something's failing in the sense of realizing it's failing. So we do what we need to do to fix that balance, and it comes back naturally. And then eventually the next generation of animals will be, without knowingly, be happy that they're still able to still be in the areas they are because we were able to fix that. You know what I mean? So.
What were you going to say, Jack?
Well, what you were saying, I think you're kind of getting at that. It does come down to like self-preservation at the end of the day. This is kind of unrelated, but I think Kiskin may agree with me on this based on the last thing, which is I don't think that like human rights are like, I don't think that's real.
Well, I'd probably agree.
You'd agree with that. I knew he would agree with that.
It's social construct.
It's like completely. It's like, you know what I mean? What are rights? Do you have a right to food? Like people say, listen, I believe in like all, subsidized healthcare, all that stuff, right? But it's like people say we have a
right.
Right. People say like healthcare's a right and stuff like that. It's like nothing's really right. Food isn't a right. Shelter isn't a right.
We talked about this last year. I remember I was talking about this about healthcare, stuff like that. And I remember we talked, and I said to you, what did I say to you? I was like, I feel like there's a part to play where you need to want it to earn it, kind of thing like that. Where it's like healthcare, I feel like it should be for everyone, but at the same time, if you're not willing to like do your part in the world to earn it, then you shouldn't probably get it.
I think you still should, but I don't think it's like some human right.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's like
I think everyone just
intrinsic.
wants everything handed to them and no one wants to do the work for it.
Exactly. That's just my opinion, though, with that stuff. But we're probably going to end it tonight. This is a few things we got to definitely think about for next week.
Definitely.
I was about to get to like the good part
But
with the animals. But
We'll leave it on a cliffhanger.
It's fine.
Next week we'll do a 2-hour
part two.
one and make it longer so that we actually get everything out.
Yeah, we got some good topics. This is a good
Yeah.
one. We need a part 2 next week.
No, we'll definitely do a part 2 next week. Thank you and good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Right there, mate. You're listening to the Lounging Around podcast. Stick around for more.